Good morning. Been out in the barn since like 5 this morning. Trying to take care of just a few odds and ends. Yesterday, I finally got out and hit the trails, and I would say I got probably 90% of the trails cleared, so that feels really good. But today, I'm gonna try something that I've never tried. I really wanna move the goats. My whole goal was to always move them around and rotate them. And then eventually I have the chickens in some sort of mobile system too. But it's been like 3 weeks. And they've tore up the ground quite a bit. I've moved their feeder around a little bit. I've moved like their water trough and a few things like that. But I think now is the time is I want to take the entire fence, the entire structured area, and I want to move it. So I do have another 164-foot length of fence. Yeah, I got plenty of room out there, so I think that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to see if I can get the fence and everything moved, hopefully without losing any goats. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I want to take care of my chainsaw really quick. Like I said, I was out yesterday, did quite a bit of cutting and clearing. I'll probably finish the rest up here in a few days. There we go. So I got my second set of fencing back here. Get this loaded up. I think this is kind of all I need. Oh, and the weed eater. I think what I'm going to do is, once I figure out where I want to lay my fence, instead of taking the mower and creating a giant 47-inch or 54-inch mowed path, I'm just gonna take the weed eater and kind of zip right down where the fence needs to go. You know, that way it'll just create a nice simple like 10 or 12-inch wide path, which is really all I need for that little fence. So okay, but first I think kids are probably up. I'm gonna head inside, say hi to the kids, maybe make some breakfast, let the sun come up a little bit. It was actually frosty this morning. It was like 40 degrees. There's actually frost on the grass and even some of the pumpkins. You can kind of see my breath right now. So it's cold, but I'm gonna let the sun come up a little bit more, let the goats wake up. I haven't really heard them yet, which is kind of surprising. Yeah, and then I'll come back on out and then we'll get some fence up. You guys hungry? You guys hungry? Piggly wigglies. You pigglies. Okay, let's fix your hay quick. Oh man, you did a giant poop right in your hay, bro. Get that out of there. Oh, you guys are crazy. Hey. Here you go. Here you go. We've been trying different treats with them, like apples, and they don't want apples, they don't want lettuce. All they want is hay, grain, and any kind of leafy trees, branches. Otherwise, any extra treats, they just don't want it. Hey, Millie. Good morning, Millie. Good morning. Hey, you big guys. Button, what are you doing over there? How about you? There's Lady Mama. Oh, here comes AJ. Here comes AJ. AJ's my buddy. Oh, and Licorice. Yeah, you know where I'm at. You know where I'm at, don't ya? What we got over here? Unicorn shine. And Lady Mama. Hey, big guy. Oh, there comes Button. Button Blue. So when I was setting up this fence, probably the most difficult part for me was figuring out where I wanted it to lay at and then mowing that path for the fence. And it felt like I was just pulling tape measures all over the place. So what I did is I got this rope. This is 200 feet. My fence is 164. So I'm actually use this and I'm going to pull it around the entire length of the fence. And then I will know, and I'll cut it at that length. Then I'll know exactly how long my fence is, and I can use this to kind of drag around wherever I want the new fence to be, basically. So I'll just be able to do this. And I might even add an extra, I think it's 4 feet for the gate. And then I actually have a couple larger gates coming, 8-footers. So I might add an extra 8-foot onto it also. And I'll mark the 8-foot section, I'll mark the 4-foot section, and then I'll have the 164-foot section for laying out the main fence. And then I can help, that should help me quite a bit actually, because then I can just pull this around without pulling tape measures all over the place. Should work pretty slick. Let's see. So to start this off, I'm just going to create a little loop and tie that into it. And that way I can always use a stake. I can stake this thing down so when I'm pulling it, especially if I'm ever pulling it through like the thick brush, I want to be able to give it a good tug and pull it through those weeds and stuff. So this should help out quite a bit. So I'm going to start right where my fence starts. Throw down my stake, pretty darn close. I already turned the fence power off. And then I'm just going to pull this down the fence. I mean, luckily this is just going to be like a one-time setup, because once I do this once, it'll be the exact perfect length, and I'll never have to do this again. Oh, there's my extra fence post. So I'll just kind of pull it tight, go around there, and I'm just going to follow the entire fence all the way around. Uh-oh, I lost control of the rope. It is unwinding wherever it wants to. I'm going to end up with a giant freaking knot here. Well, we'll see. And that's why I put a stake in the ground, just to keep tension on that backside. So far, so good. Nothing too crazy. There we go. All right, pull that tight. Wrap the corner here. Oh, now we're getting to the messy part. All right, so I have the rope wrapped completely around the fence now. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to every one of those stakes. I'm gonna tie another loop knot in at that location, and that'll help me for future installs where I will know where every single post is at, so I can make sure that a post lands on a corner, and then I can use that loop, I can stake it into the grass and keep it tight as I'm pulling that line around to distinguish where I need my fence at. This is the last knot for the fence. What up, buddy? What are you doing on top of the side-by-side? And then this will be the knot for the actual 4-foot gate. And I noticed it's a little bit longer than 4 foot, and my 8-foots aren't here yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out 10 feet and go ahead and cut it from here. And that way I'll have a 4-foot section in my rope and another 10 foot, which then I can reduce it down to 8 foot once the 8-foot gates do get here. Throw it on there. So we got, yeah, so 10 should be pretty much straight to that. So I'll just toss one last one here. Silly goats. Okay, now I can cut this and we're good. Right, buddy? You got the tape measure? So basically what I have now is 164 feet of rope with a bunch of these at every stake location. And what I did just now was I included both the 4-foot gate and the 8-foot gate on this rope section. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off that 4-foot and 8-foot section and just have one rope guide for the 164 feet of fence. I'll have one small chunk of 4-foot with a loop on each end, and I'll have one small chunk of 8-foot with a loop on each end, so that way I can plug and play as needed, and then I can utilize the same stake for the end of the 164 foot to attach a gate, you know, and kind of work it that way. I think that's just gonna make it a lot easier to pull around, and then there's gonna be no accidentally pulling too much line and missing the 4 or 8-foot sections. So we can just lay out the 164, lay out exactly where a gate we want it to be, whether it's 4-foot or 8-foot or both, and then we can go from there. But now I think we're able to, I just need to cut the rope down to the 164-foot mark, and we're actually able to pull the rope now back behind me, and we'll figure out where we want our next location to be for the goats. Okay, you wanna hold on to these stakes quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we established we want the 4-foot gate right here. I like having it in the center of the runs. It seems like when it pulls, it kind of makes the fence kind of wonky, and I don't want it to be on an end. I just feel like it's not gonna work very good. But so yeah, we're gonna start right here. I got all of my rope. I just gotta find the end. We'll attach it right here. So I'll share this stake, and then we can just pull. Yep, it'll be super easy. So there is our 4-foot gate section, and then we ran corner, straight line, corner, corner, all the way back down here to a corner. So now we have a nice, big, perfect rectangle for the fence to wrap around. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make sure I get the stakes pushed all the way down and tight, and I'm gonna take the weed eater and pretty much just go right over the top of the string, I hope. It doesn't get wound up, and I'll knock all the grass down. All right, now it's all trimmed up. I know pretty much where the fence needs to go. I mean, this is all gonna be still a rough estimate, but it's gonna be a very good starting point to make it a little easier. So now I'm just gonna pull out all these stakes, and then I can go ahead and start laying out the fence, stand it up, and then I'm gonna have to steal the gate off my current goat pasture. So at that point, the goats might be running loose a little bit. So we'll kind of see what happens. So as I was pulling the stakes, I did kind of realize this is not a perfect rectangle, because on that back side over there, I have 3 full fence panels. Each are 10 feet, so that's 30 feet across there. Up front, I only have 2 full panels plus the 4-foot gate. So technically, I'm about 6 foot short on that end where the gate is, and then it gets wider as it goes that way, which I'm fine with. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's still gonna be nice, tight corners is what I'm just trying to achieve here. And once I get 8-foot gates, I'll see how I can incorporate that into this system to maybe make it a little bit more closer to a more perfect rectangle, I guess. But yeah, got all the stakes pulled. Just gotta pull up my line and we'll get the fence down. Okay. Hopefully this goes a little smoother than the first roll I did over there, but I know where my gate's at, so I know where my starting point's at. So that's where I'm gonna set this down. I'm going to get this unwound a little bit. So yeah, here they got the connector attached. Okay, now that's on its own. Roll it on out. Okay. That should be what we need right there. Not sure if I want to lay it on the outside. Probably. So I'm kind of going the wrong direction. Probably want to start on this side. All right, second time around. This is way smoother. Man, this is so nice. I know exactly where I'm laying them at. I know exactly where my corners need to be at. Basically should be the corner right here already. Just trying to make sure this is as straight as possible. Give me in a good spot. Hey girls. Yep, this is the new fence for them. So we got, the fence is all laid out. Now the one big thing I have to, and this is why I got the 8-foot gates. So when I get them, I can pull their goat shack through the gate. So right now I'm gonna have to take this gate out and open up one of the panels, and then I'll probably swing that panel open and I'll pull it in from the side. So that's gonna be the first step, is just opening this up, and I'll probably just let the goats roam around. We have let them out of their little area a few times. They just follow you around and they kind of just run around and do some fun stuff. So I'm not too worried about them getting too far away, but I'm gonna have to start the side by side. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of moving around, and I don't know how they're gonna react to that. So I guess we're gonna find out. All right, we'll make room for the goat shack. So I figured I'd prep as much as I can before I open up the fence. Get some of their toys out of the way, get the chain hooked up. All right, there we go. Look out, buddy. Look out. What's up, AJ? What do you think of this? We're gonna move your house, buddy. We're gonna move your house. Here guys, you wanna help me try to pull this thing around? We're gonna turn this so the door's facing kind of that way at an angle, okay?
I can do it. And then maybe we could push it like to the side of the fence.
Yeah, or push it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna grab some chain? And we're gonna go that way with it, okay? See if we can drag it. Ready? Okay, that's good for there. Now I'll see if we can drag the back this way a little bit. I almost need eyelets on the back of here. You guys getting it?
No.
Okay, ready?
Most of it's just you.
Heave. Ready? There we go. A little bit more?
I want want it to fence like all the way to the door. The door.
I think that's good. That still gives them plenty of room. What'd you find?
Oh, fuzzy.
Ooh, that's a big old caterpillar.
I'm gonna keep it so we can see when it starts turning to a toilet.
Goat stampede. All right, last step is just getting the gate up here really quick. Is your 4x4 stuck, buddy? Yeah, bud. Treats. Hey. Ooh, now that I got their attention. Come on, girls and boys. Ho! Here you go. There you go. Want some treats? There we go. Yeah, you big guys. Here, go get those ones. Go get those ones. You staying in, buddy. You're staying in, buddy. There we go. All right, so all the kids and family came out. They got most of the toys and the goodies all swapped over to the new area. Just got a few odds and ends like the water, really the water, and then the solar panel charger. Yeah, that's about it really. And then take down this old fence and we are good to go. Not too bad. Ugh. There we go. Should work. Some fresh water. We are just about done. All right, lastly, just got our solar charger here. I think that'll do pretty good. We got our ground rod, about like here. Oh, there we go. I think our water pretty much done too. Get this turned off. Okay. All right, final step. This whole thing, hook up and test our connection, or test our power, I guess. Okay, we got power there. And this will be the end of the run. So I'm gonna throw this over here. Yep, 7,000 volts. So I think we have plenty of power. And this is at the end of the run. So it's starting here and it's going around the entire fence. It's connected to the gate and then ends right here. And we are getting 7,000 volts. All right, they have shelter. They got food, they got water, they got protection. First goat rotation was a success. It actually went pretty darn smooth. Don't think there was too much I could have asked for to make it any better. So really hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll see y'all next time. Later.